Here we go. Week 35.
35 weeks of Dark Shadows.
175 episodes.
Ooh, getting there.
Yep. So at the beginning, Guthrie translates the French from the séance, and they decide that the boy in danger, which was translated from what Vicky said, is David. And they kind of think that maybe another séance would be good, but in the old house, because that's where Josette seems the strongest.
And without Laura there.
And not inviting Laura this time. Yes. Although I have a feeling she would figure it out anyway and still show up if
probably
they were to do that.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Eventually.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have to. They kind of hinted this week that it would be like kind of last case scenario or whatever, right. Like if they had to. But
some developments that might have prevented that.
That's true.
We'll get to.
So then Laura shows up to Vicky in her room and just kind of says, "Oh, you'd be so much safer if you weren't here," and kind of seems like she's looking out for her, but I guess maybe threatening or looking out. I don't know what. Yeah, I guess it is more of a threat than.
Yeah, it's like when the mob shows up at your business, it'd be like, "Oh, it'd be a shame if something were to happen to this lovely place you have here."
Yeah, and then
we're just looking out for you, you know.
And then she disappears again. So this teleporting thing is more and more of a thing.
Yep. Clearly got some sort of powers there.
Right.
For appearing and disappearing.
And then Johnson is cleaning Laura's cabin and needs to clean out the fireplace. So she goes to put out the fire and Laura's like, "Don't ever put out my fire." She's like, "I'll only do it quickly. It'll only be out for a minute. I'll put it back together or whatever." And she's like, "Never.
This fire is to always be remaining on."
She's crazy.
She likes her fire.
Apparently.
If you haven't noticed.
If you haven't noticed, right?
Every week's all about fire for the last month or two.
So I think the rest of that episode was kind of just, I don't know, there's a lot of Burke trying to figure out who Guthrie really is, and he gets a private investigator on it, and Johnson reports to him about the seance, and so he's kind of worried about Vicky and asks Johnson to look after Vicky for him and whatever. So just kind of a lot of that, and then
some sappy stuff with Joe and Carolyn. And she's crying on his shoulder, and
yeah, at least he was kind of there for her because he knows he knows her well, and you know she's upset about her mom and whatever. So he was just
being a nice guy, even though he's still with Maggie and.
Then Guthrie goes to listen to the recording.
Right, the tape recording.
Of the seance.
But
it's all just crackly fire sounds.
Yep.
So it's gone.
Someone recorded over it.
Although, I mean, I imagine he wrote it all down because he was making notes about it, but I guess hearing it is different than just reading the
It's true. I used to get mad when people would tape over if I recorded something that I wanted to keep and then someone taped over it back in the day. I used to be so mad.
Especially with crackly fire sounds.
Especially if it's crackly fire sounds.
Although, some people like that for falling asleep, so...
I was trying to tape Dark Shadows, Mom, and you just recorded over it with crackly fire sounds. Not cool.
So then David gets in on the action. He's so upset that there was a seance and he wasn't told about it.
I know. It's like, oh, that would have been the best thing. Maybe he'll come to the next one if they do the one in the old house.
Maybe. Yeah. He knows Josette well, so he should just be able to come.
Exactly. He's probably going to be already there when they show up. He'll be hiding in the secret bookcase. Listening.
So then Laura asks Burke to help him again to help her again with David. So he goes and finds him in this little fishing cabin or something that they have or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was clearly near the water because you could hear boats and stuff, boat noises and stuff. So apparently they have this fishing shack in the by the water at Collinsport that we've never seen or mentioned before.
Then Burke tries to convince him to go on a trip somewhere with Laura just to spend time with her, and he says he wants to, but he still remembers how afraid he was. He says he's not afraid now, and he really likes her, and he wants to love her, but he's afraid of how he felt before. So
it's kind of weird. Is he going to go on a trip with her?
Probably not.
Is he going to go on a trip with Burke? Burke also offered to
take him fishing.
Take him on a fishing trip. They were going to go fishing together someday.
Right.
Maybe.
I don't know. And then more just back and forth with Burke and Laura and him not trusting her, and then she bats her eyelashes. Well, not really, but she does her voodoo, and then he trusts her, and blah blah blah. So we'll just
go back and forth, and then he'll question Victoria if he should trust her, but then he goes back to her. Then he trusts her, but then he doesn't trust her, and
whatever.
I think he's finally starting to get out from under
It
her spell.
Seems a little bit.
Her love
a
spell.
little bit. Mm-hmm.
Might be under a different spell if he gets on the wrong side of her. But
yeah. And then
what day was that? Was that the Thursday episode?
That was Wednesday.
That was the Wednesday.
So
episode?
Thursday.
That was all about
Frank comes and says that Liz is a bit better, but only a little bit, and so Guthrie assumes it's because she's away from Collinwood.
I was wondering if he was just saying that to make Carolyn feel better. Or do you think
so she's a bit better?
Yeah.
No, because once Carolyn left, he said like she.
Oh right.
Or no, he said she was better, and then Carolyn got her hopes up. So then he was like, "Well, she's not better, but like just marginally."
I said. He should have been like, I meant she's in a better place now.
It's a very different thing.
Poor choice of words. I meant when I said better, she's better. I meant she's in a better place. She's dead, Carolyn.
I dare say we will see Liz again soon.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think Joan Bennett's vacation time is
coming to an end.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if she was on vacation or if she was.
I don't know.
Negotiating her contract, or if she was ill. She might have been ill, and they had to write her out for how long has it been? Several weeks. I don't know.
It's a lot. It's been a long.
Maybe one of you guys
know
why Joan Bennett was off for so long.
Let us know if you know.
In early 1967.
And then we have Riley in Phoenix, and he is there to just close the case on the lady who was burnt, and so they do that, and they go down to get the body, and it's gone.
Go.
I don't know.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
But they check several times, apparently. The next episode says.
They checked it several times. Picture them just opening the door. Nope, still just checking it. Nope, she's still gone. Nope.
Not there.
Maybe if we go outside and we come back in and then we check, maybe she'll be back.
Maybe.
Nope, she was gone. Every time they looked, the body was still gone. So that's unfortunate.
Yep. So Vicky and Guthrie kind of just talk about that, and then he says that they should do the second séance if they really need to, and Vicky kind of reluctantly kind of agrees, hoping that it maybe won't come to that. Mm-hmm. And then Burke and Laura chat again and say they need to stick together and whatever.
Yeah.
And then Guthrie comes to talk to Laura. Oh, before that, Burke comes to talk to Vicky. And he's kind of like, should I trust her? And Vicky gives him a whole recap of all of the things that have happened up
for
to
those
this
who
point,
missed the last week or two.
With all the fire and the other Al Murdochs and all that stuff. So then hopefully he's kind of questioning things. Guthrie goes and talks.
Because I'm getting sick of this whole thing. I mean,
right.
I like Burke. I like having Burke on the show because he's my favorite character. But it's like, okay, the whole Burke and Laura thing. I'm getting sick of the whole Laura thing just in general. It's kind of been dragging on for a long time. But I'm like, maybe if they got back to like her helping him with the manslaughter thing.
Right.
I'm more interested in that. But whatever, we got this.
This is what we
weird
got.
Fire stuff going on.
So Guthrie goes and questions Laura, and she's very vague and doesn't really want to answer any of the questions, and keeps telling him to leave and that he's bothering her, and she was trying to rest and she doesn't want to talk about anything, and she kind of threatens him.
Yeah, she's like, better. What did she say? You better leave or I can't remember what was her phrasing that he was like, that sounds like a threat. Better leave or before you're sorry, before you regret it, or something along those lines. He's like, what am I going to regret? She's like, you just better go. He's like, no, I think I'll stay. She's like, I'm warning you. Oh, that's what she kept saying. It's like, I'm warning you. You better go. So what are you warning me about?
Yeah.
Like, well, you should go back to the house. Nope, I think I'll stay here. Let's see what happens. Don't say I didn't warn you. I won't.
And then Burke shows up, so he leaves. So Guthrie leaves, and Burke like really questions her, like, what is going on? Like, what is all this stuff? And give me answers. And she's like, you need to leave. Go now. He's like, why won't you answer anything, even the simplest questions? And she's like, oh, I will.
I need to kill Guthrie.
I will. I need you to leave now, and I'll do it later. And so she shoos him out the door, and then she stares into the fire like she does, and then
Guthrie collapses again. He's calling for Vicky, but at least he didn't fall on the stairs. Like,
yeah, he just fell by the fire on the ground.
Yeah, he almost fell into the fire. Like, don't lean over the fire if you're going to collapse, dude.
So there you have it. The end of the week. So we can't really have a séance if we don't have our séance leader. So
right, they could have one without him. Maybe if he's dead, he can join them in spirit.
From the other side.
He'll be there in spirit. Anyway, literally.
So I don't know. It seems that they might. I mean, it's the same thing that happened to Liz. So they're gonna be suspicious that
And
the
Burke,
same thing.
both times, the person was meeting with Laura. Burke walks in, the person leaves,
And
and then
they
the person collapses. So both times Burke was there right before the person collapsed. So
I mean, I don't really have any predictions. I think, I mean, when Liz collapsed, she could talk after that. It was the second time that Laura visited her that she couldn't talk. So, I mean, I don't know what she would have done to him, because she probably would want him not to talk either. So we will.
I don't know if he's weaker. Maybe Liz was really strong, and so it took a few tries or something. But I would think that Guthrie would be a pretty strong person if he's into all the paranormal stuff. I mean, it was like he was deliberately egging her on, like, no, what powers do you have?
Yeah,
I want you to show me what powers you have. So he wanted her to do something to him so that he could.
She showed him.
Yeah. So assuming he is able to communicate after this, then he'll have all the evidence he needs that she's got some sort of power. So he'll be able to use that, hopefully, to his advantage if they do another séance.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't have any predictions except for maybe they'll do a séance in the old house without him. Maybe they can do that somehow, because Josette is strong enough. Maybe that they know how to put their fingers all together in a little circle. So
that works.
I think they'll do that without him. Okay. Anything?
Nope.
Bye.
Bye.